Elvin begins the lesson. Can anyone tell me about bonk goals? Martin pipes up. The really hot coals, right? Correct, Martin, Bubo exclaims. Though they're not the best for blacksmithing because they can make the metal melt. You want it to bend but not melt. Thankfully, this fire has very little bonk in it, so go ahead and help the fire carriers. The owls fly over to the fire. Martin is the first to fly down and grab a coal. As he flies up, Soren spots an ember flying up out of nowhere. Before it can strike Martin, Soren grabs it out of the air. Nicely done, Soren. Your first ember, Elvin exclaims. Send it to the fire carrier. Thank you, Soren. Sorry for making you watch me, Martin apologizes. Bubo chuckles to himself. Quite the accomplishment for your first time. If only our other owls could be that lucky. Ruby is shown huffing in annoyance. Otalissa, stop showboating and grab a coal. Otalissa is heard in the distance. I'm gonna catch an ember. It'll be quick. My parents could clear an entire forest fire in minutes. I already did. Just fly up, Ruby yells with concern. Your tail feathers are getting singed. Otalissa snatches an ember out of the air. Finally. Okay, now we can go. Bubo laughs. Hard to believe that these children will be guardians. Elvin nods in agreement. Indeed, though we were very much the same when we first arrived. Ethelred gives everyone a satisfied smile. Okay, I think we've all had a very fulfilling night. Let's head home. Gylfi flies over with a terrified Prim. It's okay, Prim. Sorry, Prim was too scared to go into the fire. Elvin comforts the owl. That's fine. I myself used to be scared of fires. We'll work on it in the coming weeks. Thank you, sir. The owls lift off. Primrose is under Soren's wing. Soren and Otalissa are behind Isilrib. Tell me, Soren, do you know why you should never fly behind a seagull? Isilrib asks. Why? You'll become their number 2. Why do seagulls insist on telling him these jokes? Otalissa asks under her breath. Because they have enough self-esteem to laugh at themselves, Isilrib answers. Seagulls see these jokes as a way to bond with each other, a way to understand each other. They don't care about species or lineage, just who their friends are. Otalissa goes silent and continues to fly. The montage continues. It shows Digger quickly placing labels on bird feathers and bones, all the while helping other students with their work. Twilight and Primrose have teamed up, with Primrose finding the owl poppins and eggs, and Twilight grabbing them for her. Ruby, Soren, Martin, and Otalissa are shown struggling less and less with flying through storms. Soren and Martin even dive into forest fires together, much to Isilrib, Elvin, and Bubo's delights. Gylfi is shown to be excelling with the navigation lessons, while Otalissa struggles and grows increasingly frustrated. This does not escape Struckström's notice. P is shown helping a snowy owl and other snakes with the harp. Towards the end of the montage, the owls are shown sparring with sticks. Martin, Otalissa, Ruby, Primrose face off against Soren, Gylfie, Digger, and Twilight. They fly into each other with their sticks, and just as they collide, the montage ends. The owls and Mrs. P, sans Soren, are sitting around the table. Ruby takes notice of Soren's absence. Is he at the drop-off again? Primrose nods. He's there every chance he gets. Gylfie sighs. Zan and Straight promised to find his family. I wish they'd hurry back soon. Twilight shrugs the concerns off. Soren will be fine. He's not the scared little owl he was when our journey started. Ah, but we should be celebrating. The last 3 nights have been most eventful. Digger laughs. Indeed. Sylvana was really impressed with my assignments. She even lets me help with the younger owls. And Gylfie, Struma has been just singing praises of your work. Martin pipes up. Doesn't it feel like they're pushing us a little extra hard, though? Just the 8 of us? Otalissa gets a spark in her eyes. Of course they are. They must be ready to tap us. They only give untapped owls hard tasks if they think the owls are ready for the next step. They decide on the selections once every month. I'm definitely getting navigation. It's only right that I have the regal jaw that Struma herself teaches. Mrs. P nods encouragingly. That's the spirit, Otalissa. How long does it take an owl to get tapped? Gylfie asks. Martin thinks on it for a moment. Some take years, some take just a couple months. Never less than 2 months, though. The group continues to chat and eat. The film then transitions to Soren next to a snowy owl writing a letter. Once he's done, the snowy owl looks it over. Madame Blanc seems impressed. Very good, Soren. Your penmanship could still use some work, but it's readable. Thank you, Madame Blanc. You're sure the search and rescue dog can find and deliver it to Bess? Soren asks. Madame Blanc nods reassuringly. Of course. The tracking jaw already has several leads. Not sure on the details, but they'll see to it that it's delivered. I'll take this to them now. Oh, right. Ethelred wanted you to head to the fire pit. He's having a get-together with a few other ribs. Are my friends gonna be there? Soren asks. Madame Blanc shakes her head. No, apparently he just wanted you there. But I wouldn't worry about it. He was the same way with Martin. I have to get going. Almost time for the daybreak song. Thanks again for recommending Mrs. P. See you later. The owl grabs the scroll and flies off. Soren watches her for a moment before flying in the opposite direction. The film transitions to Soren in a room with a large fire pit. Bubo, Ethelred, Elvin, Struma, Baron, and Boron are sitting around the fire pit. Soren stays in the doorway while they talk. Struma begins to speak. Gylfie is clearly gifted in navigation. She more than understands the basics, and even some advanced stuff. And what of Otalissa? Boo asks. Ethelred sighs. She's smart, but clearly lacking in the teamwork department. Elvin shakes his head. I'd hoped that she'd develop those skills, but she's just so stunted. And Martin, that child worries me. He has potential, but he's so skittish. Clearly, we need a more hands-on approach with them. But what of Twilight, Primrose, and Ruby? Baron's turn to speak. Ruby is an excellent flyer, for just about any jaw, really. Twilight is a fighter by nature, though he could use a little more practice when it comes to restraint. And Primrose... Boron takes his turn. She's careful to avoid, doesn't take chances. Primrose does need to work on facing her fears. I dare not even consider sending her near a fire at this current point in time. Hazelrod laughs it off. But don't worry about them too much. They're young, spirited, and already quite capable. Digger, one of our smartest owls, always hungers for knowledge. And Soren, he still has a ways to go, but he always watches others' backs, allowing him to quickly spot danger. Baron smiles mischievously. Besides, I know a certain spotted owl that was just like Utilissa back in the day. Sturkström teasingly sticks out her tongue. I'm sorry, Baron. Who's the one who led you out of that storm during the final Battle of the Ice Claws? You were there during the Battle of the Ice Claws? The other owls notice Soren. Soren, grab a coal and place it in the fire pit. There's plenty of food, so dig in. Elvin calls him over. Soren does just this and sits next to Ethelred. Boron begins to speak. The Battle of the Ice Claws is actually related to how we became king and queen. Towards the end of the war, there was a faction of the League of Ice Talons that had gone and attacked the Gold Tree, so Baron Struma and I led a small faction and fought them off. Baron nods, sadly. The previous ruler had no heirs when he was killed, so once the war was over, we went back and went through the selection process with several other owls. That's how we eventually became king and queen. Wow! Soren gasps in amazement. Did you know an owl called the Lies of Keel? Also, what was the Keelian fighting style? Ethelred chuckles at this. That's just where a Keelian snake rode on the backs of owls and attacked enemy owls. Nothing fancy. As for Lies of Keel, Elvin answered, I've heard of him. The Northern Raiders were so distracted by their fear of him that I flew myself and Bubo right out of their clutches. Bubo smiles, reminiscing about that day. I remember that day. It was hilarious. Elvin glares. Bubo, shush. You were barely out of your egg when that happened. Sturkström shakes her head at this. It's hard to tell if he was real. It was a common tactic up north to make a legendary figure to boost morale. But then again, he was given credit for the final victory. That never happened until the war. Lies was a popular name from what I hear, as the robot continues. He was probably real, though it seems as though he passed away shortly after the war. But anyways, how are you finding your stay here, Soren? I love it here, sir. I can't wait for my family to come. Do you think they'll let you get here? Strickstrom asks. Yeah, especially Claude. He loves stories of war and songs of war. Montel once got mad at him for trying to pick a fight with a fox below the nest. He spars all the time with older barn owls, particularly with one named Blyrick. Boron pauses. Blyrick? What's he like? Blyrick is a fully fledged owl who lives a bit away from our hollow. According to Claude, he lost his parents, nestmate Snake, and Right Eye in an attack by some other owl. Oh, and he liked to dye his wing feathers red. Ezra pauses and looks at the others before answering. Well, that's certainly unique. How about you head to bed? Tonight's tapping selection day. You might have been picked for something. Yes, sir. See you tonight. Soren excitedly flies off while the ropes continue to talk. The scene changes to the hollow just as Soren flies in. Everyone is sitting around, chatting.